Go. And we're recording.
I don't hear the song, but I'm bouncing to it.
Welcome to the show. You like that intro music?
I didn't hear it, but I pretended.
You couldn't hear it at all?
No, but I've heard it before.
Oh, okay. I'll take that off too, because that'll be distracting and get it out of there. I just thought it'd be funny to start off the episode like that. And I have a Italian hat as part of my safety regimen.
I have a Florida Bama hat,
Oh, that's good too. Yeah, be like, I just got back from the beaches.
Yeah.
How are you doing? Welcome to the show, Kim McVicar. Give it up, everybody who's listening. We have an avid listenership, not an avid watchership.
That's good, because I refuse to put on makeup during this COVID-19 thing.
Okay, well, you can't tell anyway. Lights are bad. Nobody knows what anybody looks like.
Exactly. Should I put on a headset? No.
Yeah, actually, the mic is usually better through that and less echoey.
Let's play. Keeping it old school. Can you hear me again or no?
Yeah, that's a lot closer.
Sweet.
Mine's a little echoey. We just moved into a new place, so I got to set up some sort of dampening.
You moved during this?
Yeah, we moved. It'll be 2 weeks ago now. This weekend. It
during
was like
peak times.
Right in the first week, but it was a week before our lease was going to be up, but we didn't want to get stuck in a place where our lease was going to be up and paying. We'd already paid for the first month of our new place, so we're like, we got to get out of here. Even though it's like in the week, we just one truck one day, moved all the big stuff, got over here, and then sheltered over here.
Did you have movers?
No.
Smart. Less people, less touching.
Did not bring it. And we moved from a studio apartment to a 1-bedroom and only had a couple big things. I got a dolly and got it all myself. Yeah, totally. And, but also it was because we moved out of a bus into the studio. We didn't have anything more than was in the bus already. So we've only slowly gotten a few more things since then.
So now you're like a hoarder with your one guitar.
If for some reason we moved to a bigger place and yet are filling out the place with all their stuff, and we're like, how are we filling it out already when it's bigger? I think it's how humans work. Yeah,
you got to fill your space. You got to feel important.
So how the past few weeks been for you?
Pretty good. I have been keeping busy.
Yeah.
I have had not necessarily any meltdowns yet, but I've definitely had moments of like, what am I gonna do? I feel like I'm getting some work done, but I also feel like I'm not getting enough work done. And then I go through this like weird, when this opens up, I need to get this and this accomplished kind of thing.
Yeah, I've been just trying to focus on like what to do, and because I see some stuff, like I don't want to do any of these Zoom shows. They don't look good, and I just don't know. It seems I wouldn't know how to perform in that way, but that I've just started booking and recording a lot more of these. I like putting out the podcasts and then writing a bunch, but I'm also I got to come up with something else to do. Maybe start making videos in here, but more produced videos than just online. I don't know.
I want to say no to everything that you said almost.
Oh yeah.
I 100% agree with the Zoom mics. I haven't participated in one, so I'm not saying that it's not valuable for other people, but I just am, you can't do stand up with everybody muted except for you to just gauge if it's funny. And people are working on new stuff because there's no point in working on old stuff. And I don't want to hear a COVID-19 joke right now at all. Soon / not funny / and then everybody's Instagrams are full of these videos that are terrible. At first I thought, am I just in a bad mood because I'm being moody? And then I was like, no, these are all just terrible sketches.
Yeah.
It's like people who have never written sketch comedy are trying to do it for the
Oh,
first time.
well, yeah, that's true. I wouldn't be doing sketches. I'm not gonna put out,
Oh, okay.
but I mean, like doing like I don't know, doing a talk show with myself or something like that.
Yeah.
Something that I would actually want to do. I got to figure it out. But I have been writing a lot. I got a lot of new. If I 1/3 of the new stuff that I've written works, then I'll have like 10 more minutes. I'll be like, all right.
That's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been writing a lot too. I have an audio recording show that I have to have a new 45 for by, I don't know. It's probably going to get pushed. So maybe October, November. They were
Oh yeah.
asking me today how much I had, and I was like, well, I've got a lot of writing done, but I'd like to try it in front of real audiences for a few months first.
And that's because you just did a special for All Things Comedy.
For Comedy Dynamics, yeah.
Comedy Dynamics, and so now you got to come up with new stuff for this other thing.
Yeah, I was in a very lucky situation where two different distribution companies wanted me at the same time, not like sexually. That's weird. Although I don't know why I thought of it like that.
It's Hollywood, that's why.
Because everybody wants this hat. No, just yeah. So two different companies at two different times, and now it's just making it all happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but you're able to do both of them.
Yeah, I was lucky. I have to
That's cool.
fulfill this first contract first before I start on the next one.
Yeah.
And it airs July 7th.
Oh, nice.
And so then as
That'll
long
be
as
just when
everyone's
everybody gets to get out of their house.
and they don't want to watch TV anymore. Yeah, when everyone's like, "Oh, I don't want to watch something."
I'm
Yeah,
done with
100%.
goddamn specials.
Yeah, except for from what I've been hearing, uh, all of the distribution, 'cause there's more stand-up specials in the works right now than there's ever been because of all of the mainstream comedians. It's actually changed my contract a little bit because of all the mainstream comedians out there. They are not making any money right now because they can't go on tour and stuff like that. So they're throwing all of their footage from like shows that they've videotaped themselves and are making like their own little weird packages, I guess, which it'll be cool because it'll be really cool to see like big names with like raw footage kind of thing instead of a produced.
Yeah, it'll be everybody's trying to do Andrew Schultz right now, pretty much.
Well, and it's just then, one, they said that they all have a lot of time, and two, they all need money. So it's like, how can I make money? Well, audio, radio, XFM and Netflix or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't know where it'll be interesting getting back on stage. I'm supposed to do headline in Maine the first week of June, and I don't know if it's happening. It's still up in the air.
That still might happen.
Yeah, it's kind of on the bubble, but it also might be like the first weekend things open back up. And so like with no prep or anything, just like, all right, right out of the bat, do an hour. Let's go.
That's got to be so good though, because that's like the best playground. I am glad that this one is already shot and in the can because I feel like all of it would feel weird now that we've had an epidemic. Like I would adjust every joke now because of this epidemic, I feel like. So I'm glad that it'll be done like out like right away so people will know it was shot pre-COVID kind of thing. It's like, hopefully. I don't know.
And plus you did like a bunch of dancing in it too, or 2 dance parts.
I have 3 dances in it.
3 dances with other people, and we're not allowed to be around other people anymore. So it's like a
oh yeah, I'm like grinding
capsule
on some guys on this, and in a perfect world, I will get to do it with more male dancers.
That's the only reason you're putting out specials.
Yeah, it's just like, how can I find a way to make men crawl around me? Oh, I know. I'll put a show around it, and I'll pay them money. I think that's prostitution, but whatever.
No, it's not prostitution, but it's
tripping?
close. It's something like that.
I don't feel bad.
Yeah, because I don't think it's illegal to hire people that just come dance around you.
I mean, it's what I did my whole life. It's called payback, is what it is. It's just my form of payback. But yeah, other than that, I've just been writing and drinking.
Nice.
I didn't drink one day out of this whole 30 days so far. And it was on day 30 that I didn't drink because I was like, whew. And I only started counting how many days I was drinking in a row once we quarantined. I'm pretty sure I was drinking days before the quarantine started.
Oh, I definitely was. And definitely have been the entire time, but not during the day. Been try to be productive. Also, up until just 2 days ago, we moved all the big stuff one day, and then over the week I would make one trip a day and go get another round of stuff and get it over here. So it's like having stuff to do during the day, but then as soon as like 7 o'clock hits or something, it's like, all right, here we go. It's normal, and a few of these, and out we go. And wake up, same thing. What day is it?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Um, Now you're in. This is an interesting time because have you gone out at all, like to go for like run or anything, or?
Yeah, I have a bicycle and
Yeah.
I walk. I mean, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know the show, but also where you are, you're like right in the thick of Hollywood, uh, on a bike. What's it like down there right now?
Dude, it's so great. I have biked down the strip in the middle of the road because there's no cars. I mean, now this week I'll say there's more cars than last week.
Yeah.
But in
Starting to get a
general,
little thicker.
it's been super, super chill. Although they just released, like they've been closing down bike trails left and right.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
tend
and
to
the
bike.
parks and stuff, everything's been closing. The whole boardwalk in Santa Monica and Venice is all closed.
Yeah, I try to bike like 5 to 10 miles if I can. Well, usually around 10, and then because I
A
need to do.
day?
Yeah, because I need to do something like
Hell
whatever,
yeah.
about an hour or two every day. It's
Nice.
just something to do during this is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been cool. I've done a few out here just getting, because we're in Santa Monica now, and just trying to get to know the area. You go riding around, and it's great because it's so flat around here. I mean, Hollywood's pretty flat too. If you go like east west, you can stay pretty flat. But I was just curious of how much more or less like crazy people are or have been around there, or if does it feel like there's less on the streets?
There's less crazy people out and about. There's definitely like one or two, but they really don't like come up to you. Honestly, from what I've been hearing in the news, a lot of them have been getting like that's one of the bigger places that have been getting hit with COVID. So
Yeah.
they're all, in my opinion, probably in a hospital right now, which I shouldn't be laughing at, but uh,
I don't worry, they're not big podcast listeners.
uh, I don't know.
They're way more XM.
Oh, okay. Do you
Yeah.
ever worry about, we have friends who are considered homeless that are comics.
Um,
I'm trying not to say any of their names, but I'm just thinking of them.
Finn Jones, definitely one of them. I don't think he gives
You
a
just
shit.
like say them. No, his bits are about it, so it's fine. But there's a
Yeah.
few.
Yeah. No, and there's quite a few comics that live in cars too that like I guess technically could have a place but have chosen not to, and then now are in no position to be able to get a place.
Yeah, what do you think of that? This is one of the things that this has nothing to do with the COVID thing.
Yeah.
When I first moved to LA as a comic, people were like, "Oh, are you going to live in your car?" And I was like, "No." And their whole thing was like, if you don't live in your car, then you didn't do the struggle, so you're not a comedian.
Oh, that's stupid. That's dumb.
Yeah,
That's not true.
just be funny.
Just be funny, but and also like you can be sensible about achieving something. Like just to
I
be like,
also think that having a job or a form of income when you're like coming up helps you write jokes because then you're around other people.
definitely that's true. Yeah. I mean, I've known people that go both ways, but the idea of like forced struggle, like it's something you have to do, that's just fucking stupid. Because there's been plenty of people who didn't have that at all and have made it just fine. But we lived in the bus for a year. Living in a car I could do, but I would never do it just staying in one place. I could do it if I was constantly traveling and constantly on the road. But I think just living in one place would get rough after a while.
Yeah, I agree. I could definitely like have like a SUV or like, I mean, your bus was basically tricked out. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like living in
No,
a
it was
car.
like a tiny little home in it. But even that still like just that parked on like Venice Boulevard in Culver City or something like that would get real depressing real quick, I think, opposed to constantly traveling, seeing new places and like discovering new shit. Like that makes it really fun. But the people who just sit in one spot and I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. And
There's
a
one.
lot of them, honestly, that I know that are homeless, I always am like, why are you doing the same jokes? You don't have anything to do all day. Why are you
Yeah.
not writing more?
Yeah, that's one thing that Finn does kill it at is he's kind of constantly writing and working
Yeah.
on shit. He's way more ambitious than a lot of homed people I know. or even people living in their cars.
I mean, I love Finn. He's so fun.
He's I wonder if I could ever get him on. He would have to. I could get when we're back in the studio. I could probably get him on. Just
He
promise
has an
him.
Instagram.
That's
He has
true.
a
Yeah.
phone.
Well, I meant like right now.
Oh.
Like we wouldn't be able to do this. Yeah, we might be able to do it over like Instagram Live or something.
That'd be definitely somebody I'd be interested in their take on COVID.
Oh, he's deep in it. Yeah, where's he going? That's. I mean, at the same time, like I guess you're depending on resources like food banks or whatever for food. But other than that, I would just like go up into like Topanga Canyon or something, like just go in the woods for a month or something, just to get away from it.
Yeah, learn how to kill an animal and eat it.
Just hunting in Topanga Canyon, they would be so just like you killed something, how dare you?
Also, I'm Canadian, so I'm like the worst person. That is the most non-true statement I've ever made.
What do you mean?
I've never gone hunting. I'm not a hunter.
Really?
No, I married a hunter, but I am not.
But you didn't grow up. I mean, you grew up in like more rural Canada, right?
I grew up in the city in Toronto.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Does your mom live outside of there now?
Yeah, now she lives in the middle of nowhere. And that
Okay.
when she retired and did that, we all were like, you went batshit crazy, lady, because she lived in the city I mean, we did live in the suburbs for a part of it, but we were like 30 minutes out of the city, not even.
Yeah.
So like all of us worked in the city, our schools are in the city and stuff like that. I couldn't imagine.
Whoa. Cat just jumped up at you.
That cat is half blind, by the way.
Oh, nice. Which half?
That's Ginger, her eye. Well,
Typically blind, yes, does mean the eye.
No, just her legs are blind. No, I think it's her right eye. I have to look. She's been it her whole life. When I got her, she was like that.
Oh, no shit.
So she doesn't know that she's blind.
This is the portrait of our dog.
Sweet.
Right there. And then this is the dog right there.
Oh, it's an accurate portrait.
Yep. We like to keep it accurate here.
Nice.
This is I've set up a little studio here that we're running operations out of right now.
Were you renting a place before this?
Yeah, well, for the interviews, I do them at, shout out to Third Wheel Podcast Studios. It's Nolan Culver and Mike, why am I forgetting his name? But yeah, those two guys have built a great studio in like right in mid Wilshire.
Okay.
And a bunch of podcasts do it out there.
That's really cool.
But yeah, just play a flat rate and they send it. This is all great podcast talk.
Yeah. No, let's get into the nitty gritty.
Mike Mezzolotti, that's who it is.
Did you
know
just
either of them?
Google it?
No, I didn't. Although I do. This is my favorite thing about the setup I have. I got my phone set up right here to just be like, let me pull it up on the screen.
That's so fun.
I've so far not used it for anything, but I like that it's there.
It's like you feel like you can.
So biking around, you must have grown up biking in Toronto then?
I have biked as a little girl, but I didn't bike in the city in my teens or anything like that.
No. Yeah, it's not. I feel like it's not as cool.
I think there are people who do it, but it's like, why do you want to bike in the snow?
That's true, but it's not always snowing, right?
No, but I'm like I'm gonna get to this place the same way every day for every day.
And how old were you when you left there?
I left, I think I was 15 when I moved to the United States.
No shit.
Officially moved, but I went on my first tours like when I was 10. I was working in America.
And this was all dance?
Yeah, all dance.
No shit. So yeah, you didn't really have like even, because I feel like Toronto would be a cool city to be in your like early 20s and stuff in.
I definitely went back for like my birthdays to like start drinking and stuff early to visit.
Not to like visit family. Just go back, start drinking there. Started my drinking. Started my dancing in the U.S. and my drinking in Canada.
Yeah, that's fair. And then I think that like I grew up fast. Like as a kid, I was a Toronto Raptors dancer when I was like a freshman in high school and a sophomore in high school. And so I was like in the city hanging out with like people who could drink and stuff like that. Way too young.
Like that's supposed to be illegal. Like
yeah. Yeah, I had to sign a contract that I like couldn't go out on the stage in the Labatt Blue outfit. I had to like only go out in. It was weird.
Okay, walk me through. How do you get the job as Toronto Raptors dancer?
Well, the first year was a junior, so they have like a junior team too. It's like the second season it ever existed because it was when it first came out.
The
It was
team
like
or the dancers?
the team when
Okay.
the second year, like they were still their
Was it
court
like
was like on the
92 or something
ice.
like that?
Yeah, it was like on the ice skating rink or something. Like I remember we were still in the before the like dome was even built.
Okay.
They would like put like carpet over the freaking ice skating rink and then play a basketball game there, which
Where
is
the Maple Leafs play?
and then put in these like fake stands and stuff. And then eventually they got their like home base. And I kind of left the year that they got that. That was the last year I was there. But it was like you auditioned. That audition specifically was in Toronto in the city, and I went by myself, and I was very like pushy at that age. I was like 13. It was 8th grade going into 9th grade, like right around that time frame. And I
And you
went.
just like saw it in the paper or something?
I don't remember. It was probably my mom. My mom was a very like, you can dance, and I was very like, all right, I don't care. I never wanted to be a dancer. I was just like, my sister did, and I was just show up. And she's like 7 years older than me.
Really?
So there was like this dance, and I had already been on tour before the Toronto Raptors thing. And then I went to the audition. I told my mom to like drop me off because it wasn't cool to be seen with your mom in 8th grade. That was my thing. And then I walk up and I sign in, and they're like, oh, you're way too young to be here. Your mom needs to come back. And then my mom had to like drive back in city traffic, find a parking spot, and then sign the thing, which made me think that I wasn't going to get the part because I needed my mom to be there.
Yeah.
But that was actually the first time, God, I hope this doesn't come across inappropriate. My mom and I made through all the cuts. And then the very last part, they do like an interview with your parents if you're under a certain age to make sure that your parents aren't crazy and that they're okay with, like, you have to be in the city 5 days a week. There's a lot of like PR stuff that you have to go to. It's a job. So like,
Yeah.
Are you okay with your kid working and stuff like that? And I remember being in the hallway with my mom and being like, do you think I'm going to get it? And I used to have big curly blonde hair. And my mom looked around and she was like, you're the only white girl left. That's yours. And I was just like, ooh, because she wasn't, I don't think she was trying to be like racist, obviously, but it was definitely.
But she was like, this is Canada. I mean, they're gonna.
She was like, you need one, like, it was the melting pot, like America. And then it was like that was when I realized that I was the token white girl. And then I moved on to like dance for other rappers and just was always the token white girl. That's what I felt like.
So have you, I think that thing everybody's wondering, one, have you met Drake? Was he going to the games then?
I don't know if he has. I don't remember meeting him. If I have, I don't think that I have.
I mean,
I
that
have
might even been.
I'm really bad at like knowing people that I've met too.
Telling Black people apart.
No. I met Bill Burr and I called him Eddie Murphy to his face.
That's funny, though.
I did it 3 times. The first time I saw him, I was at this party.
She thinks I'm Eddie fucking Murphy.
Dude, that's the only reason he hung out with me, because I was like, you're Eddie Murphy. And he was like, no, I'm not.
That's fucking hilarious.
And I was like, and then we talked about the Comedy Store all night that night, because I was talking about how I wanted to be a comedian. And he just started talking to me about the old days.
So this is pre-comedy.
Yeah, this was like when I first moved to Los Angeles. I met him at a launch party for some TV show on Stars or something like that.
How do you it doesn't those, the weird thing is like half of those parties are just not like interesting at all. And then some are like crazy like that, or like you might like end up meeting somebody.
It was because I was dancing on a dance floor and I saw him. Okay. And then it was like, I dance like a goof. He dances like a goof. And then I was like, hey, I really like your comedy. And he was like, oh yeah. And I was like, you're Eddie Murphy. He was like, no, I'm not. And then he was like, do you know who I am? And I went through the whole, like, you are the guy in Multiplicity. You're in Ghostbusters. Like, I knew who he was. I just couldn't get his name right. It was just the first name that came out of my face. I'm so bad with names. So bad with names.
Bill Burr?
I wish it was Bill Burr. No, it was Eddie. It was Bill Murray.
Okay, you've been saying Bill Burr this whole time.
See, I'm so bad with names. Oh my God, I'm so bad. That's so funny that I can't even get the story about the bad names right.
That's why I was doing the Bill Burr impression.
I was looking at you like, that's not what he did. Okay.
Yeah, you were saying I met Bill Burr and thought and
Oh,
called him Eddie Murphy.
nope, it was Bill Murray, the guy in Ghostbusters.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
and I messed it up. Yeah.
Um, I can see that more because he's also known to like just like fuck it, I'm gonna go hang out with this person and then they'll never see me again.
Except for we did see each other again, and then I called him Eddie Murphy again by mistake, and then he remembered my name because I'm probably the only person that's ever called him Eddie Murphy.
I'm gonna if I ever meet him, I'm gonna be like, "What's up, Eddie?"
Yeah, we should start a
Somebody
thing. Everyone, whoever listens to this, start calling.
call Bill Murray and Bill Burr
Yeah, let's
Eddie
get
Murphy.
everybody's Eddie Murphy now.
Yeah, it just whatever it is, don't call another black guy Eddie Murphy. That
Yeah.
won't go well. But famous white comedians call him Eddie Murphy. I heard this story that people would always yell at like John Lennon or Paul McCartney, like when one of the Beatles getting back together after they broke up, and I forget if it was John Lennon said it or somebody saw it or something. But the only time he ever laughed was if John Lennon like walking down the street in New York, and somebody goes, "Hey, when the monkeys getting back together?"
Yeah, it was probably my mom.
Yeah.
Generationally, it makes sense. It was my family. Yeah.
Um, so you leave there and you end up in LA at 15?
No, I moved to New York first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I moved to New York. I went to high school at John F. Kennedy, junior and senior year.
So does
Um,
your both your parents move too, or you move by
my
yourself?
dad is passed away.
Oh,
Actually,
okay.
he passed away after I moved to New York. I didn't even realize that. But I never met him. I met him the week he died. Like it wasn't like
And then
I
you
only yeah. So my mom, yeah. Then I was like, peace. I'm going to
yeah,
America. No. My mom had 4 kids with him, but they were separated slash divorced my whole life.
and you're
And
the
then
youngest?
yeah, and the prettiest and the cutest and no, I'm kidding. I
No,
moved,
that's about right. Yeah, I'm the youngest as well. That's how it works.
yeah, exactly. Then I moved to the States with my mom, and then my siblings did not come.
Really? But
Yeah,
they were all older, like they were all could live on their own and shit already.
yeah. My sister was probably borderline, shouldn't have. She's 6 years older than me, so she's probably like in college age.
Yeah.
And then my other brothers are 9 and 11 years older than me. So
9/11, nice. Um,
hey,
9/11, you moved to New York. That's uh your sister's age. I know a few people, and I always find it weird when they do this. That like I had a friend who was like 23, and we lived in Portland, Maine, and he had his own place there, and uh, he was a cool dude. And then his parents lived there, and he had grown up there, and then they decided to move to Texas, and they were going to retire like outside of Austin, and because it was just like warmer and nicer than Maine and stuff. And
Mhm.
so he moved with them just because they were moving, but it was only because he like if he was 33 and had been living on his own for 10 years and his parents moved, it was just like, oh, your parents moving, I have a life here. But he was just like, yeah, I don't really got a lot here. I guess I'll go stay close to my parents. And he just moves to Texas with them.
Yeah,
I've known a few people that do that. It's always something that's like, I don't know. I think a part of it is I've never been that close to my family. That I
I am very close to my mom, but we're very close in a I'm never home, she's never home sort of way.
Yeah,
So it's
talk a
not
lot,
like
but not necessarily like have to live with each other.
yeah, I do remember when we moved to New York and it was just the two of us. At one point in time, like I had been touring as a dancer. I'd gone away for 2 months at a time in the summertime. My mom's rule growing up was that I wasn't allowed to go away unless it was like off school, but I could get out of school like a month early maybe, but not like
Yeah,
during the year. So I was never gone for like more than 6 to 8 weeks at a time. And then I moved to New York. I was like just turning 16, and then eventually my mom was like, where are you going tonight? And I was like, no, you can't do that
yeah.
now. Like I've been hanging, like hailing buses and cabs. Like it's just a weird thing to like,
My senior year was like the height of competing in skiing,
mhm,
and I think I calculated it was like I missed 2.5 to 3 months of school from being away to go to different competitions and stuff. And I was in Colorado for a month, pretty much the whole month of like February, from doing like the way the schedule worked out. It would be like you'd go to the US Open and then you'd have 4 days off, and then X Games would be right after that. And so you just stay out there for like 4 or 5 days and then go to the next thing. And so I missed like a month, and I remember coming back, and I just turned 18 too. And coming back and like going out to see some friends some night, and my parents are like, be home by 10. I was like, I was just gone for a month. Like I'd call and check in, but like you didn't know what I was doing that whole time. Like I was just staying in hotel rooms that my sponsors put me up at. So like I didn't like have to check in with anybody or anything.
Exactly the same thing where it was like, no. It's I have been
My
so good
parents,
so far, so like come on.
yeah, they very quickly looked at me and were like, okay, just I don't know, tell us where you're staying if you don't come home, I guess. And I was like, I'll deal, I can do that.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't a bad kid. I didn't disobey my mom, but it was just one of those like, oh no, you can't like now start putting in these rules. This doesn't make
Yeah,
sense.
I also feel like being the baby of the family, they've just been parents for so long already that they're like, I'm just ready to be done. Like I can cut it short 2 years just by not giving a fuck. Like I think I calculated my parents by the time I was 16 had been parents for 25 years already. And so they were just like, we're done with this parent thing.
Yeah, and my mom was a single mom. Like she was like, whatever. And I also used to. My mom is very smart, but she's also very gullible. I would be like, "No, mom, in America." I would say that all the time. I mean, it's Canada
Mom, let
too.
me translate for you.
Yeah, I'd be like, "No, that's not how it's done here." It's like, no, you always sleep over at parties here. It's America. That's how they do it.
Oh, not like, yeah, I'd be like, you don't get the culture.
Yeah, 100%. It was so stupid, but I got away with it.
Do you or she or both of you speak French?
Un petit un peu.
A little bit?
Yeah,
And what, same with your mom, or does she?
not at all. No,
Not at all.
my
Because that
brother
would be
Patrick.
funny and demeaning to do, is anytime like somebody from the US talked to her, you just turn and translate in French, and she's like, I know what they say.
That'd be a great bit. Yeah. No, my brother used to write for the Montreal paper in French, but
Oh, neat.
yeah,
Is he in Montreal?
he's passed away. But he
Jesus
was.
Christ.
Yeah, there's a lot of deaths in my family.
Yeah,
Those are the jokes I'm working on right now. Actually, my
nice.
brother passing away jokes in my stand-up special that's coming out in July. I have stuff about my dead dad.
Your dad. Oh, nice. So we're gonna have a good like that. We'll go dad, brother, and then if you
Yeah,
get a third, who knows? Somebody's got to die.
I didn't put them both in the first one because I didn't want to overwhelm everybody. I was like one death at a time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good call. And plus, we got this,
Ooh, yeah,
Zika.
maybe I can't even do it now. That's a very fair thing. I didn't even
No,
think
I
about
was
it.
gonna say you have more deaths to talk about
Oh, I do, but I
come
also
going
feel like
forward.
other people probably are too many deaths for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe, but people are
I don't
also
know.
selfish. I don't
But
think.
my brother's stuff for me, the premises that I'm working on are like ideas of like, so my brother was like super gay, and when he died, it was like he picked his funeral at a gay karaoke bar. That's where we had his funeral. So it was like having family who've never been to a gay bar come in and see a bunch of like naked go-go dancers while we're like
Nice.
mourning his death. So it's
Yeah.
like more stories on that side, not necessarily like the sadness of it, but the humor, because there's so much like my brother gave me his Facebook's information because we knew he was going to die, so he gave me like all that stuff to like make sure that we passed on all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so I made a Facebook event because I didn't know what I mean. I was what was I was like in my early 20s. I wasn't smart enough to do anything. I still wouldn't
Yeah.
be, but I like made an event that said celebration of life because my mom refused to call it a funeral. So then this guy came and he came up to me, and we had gotten tickets for everybody who came that was like alcohol, because that's where Irish
Drink
Catholic is from.
tickets. Yeah.
Yeah, you can drink, everyone gets some drinks. We had like a huge bar tab, and
Okay.
this guy came up to me and he was like, "Where's Patrick? I'm here for his birthday party. We've been talking online for all this time." And I was like,
Ooh.
"Oh, celebration of life. No, he's dead. Here's a drink ticket." That was like how I handled it. It was so, my sister, I think it was my sister who was like, "Kim, come over here," because she didn't want my mom to have to talk to him.
Yeah.
But this guy was like, just like dressed to the nine. Like I think he wanted to like screw my brother out, like he thought he was the next.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure
And
that they
who
were
was he
like
talking
sexting
to? Was he
online
talking
to my
your-
brother but he never told him that he was dying. Like he
Oh,
was just
okay.
Facebook messaging a bunch of gay guys and just like catfishing people before he
Yeah.
died. And then like the guy comes to the party and I'm like, oh, yeah. Also, good thing you didn't sleep with him.
Yeah, he's
He
dead.
passed
But
away for doing that. So
oh really?
yeah.
That's how he went?
Oh yeah, he went the stereotype of it all.
But I would think that that's maybe one of the ultimate fantasies, especially for a gay man, is to be able to plan your own funeral.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the positive behind it all.
Yeah,
It's
next
like,
to wedding, like that's probably right up there with like, yes, I want to have a say. Do not allow somebody else to do that for me.
yeah, and he picked where we put his ashes and like all that stuff, and it was all illegal things. Like all he asked for us to do was commit different things
Did he
against the
want?
law. It's like,
I was gonna say that's why he invited that guy, because I want my ashes in him. And
figure it out, Kim. If you love me, you'll figure it out.
I'm here for his birthday. Bad news, he's dead. Good news,
He's in that drink. Oh, that'd be so good.
Okay. This is on a little lighter note. This is a thing that I show every guest.
Okay, I don't know what this is yet.
Just to gauge your well, it's just somebody getting hurt skiing, and it will just be a good gauge of your sense of humor, also what you think of it. Like how do you feel about like crash videos?
I mean, I don't watch them.
Okay.
I don't care.
They don't make you like cringe. I mean, there are some people that it really
wouldn't.
makes cringe.
I don't think. Also, you gave me a heads up on what it is.
Okay.
So now I think it's already funny,
No,
especially if it's you.
no, it's not. Oh, this is, God damn it! I got it.
That's all right.
No, I just don't want to give them the advertising on my goddamn show.
Yeah. Oh.
The Relco or whatever it is.
I wasn't gonna mention it for you. Oh, is he dead? Oh, wait.
No.
Oh, that's a mountain. Oh, but now he's having fun. I think that was fun. He hit a mountain and then he had a good time. It's like a lot of my sense. I can't hear him.
There are a couple other views here of it. Can you hear the audio too?
No.
Oh, you can't.
But my imagination is pretty good. Oh! Did his skis fall off?
Oh yeah, his skis go flying off. I wonder why it doesn't allow you. Here, if you on your computer want to pull up that clip.
Oh, I wish I could copy it.
Because you need to.
I need to hear
just
it.
put in Tanner Hall broken ankles.
Oh wait, I need to get out of this screen first. Okay. Okay, so clearly he breaks his ankles.
Yeah, but what? Yeah, if the audio is half of the fun. So basically, yeah, his ankles are blown up. But this was years ago. He's fine now.
Yeah, 9 years ago. Oh. I got scared. Can you hear the audio?
A little bit, yeah.
But not enough about.
Is that Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Helicopter was just ready to come out and start.
Okay, yeah, I can hear that.
I just wanted to get one more in so I can, just be ready.
Of course they are. This is so funny.
Okay, that's the part I find my favorite is the other guy who yells his ankles are broken.
Yeah,
like
I'm crying. Oh, that was good.
All right, that's a good gauge then. That's all we needed to know is how do you feel about your death injury? No, I mean the crash, knowing that
So
he's
funny.
okay, the
Yeah, it
crash
helps.
itself is brutal, but then it's just into the ankles are broken. I just cracks me up, but it's a gauge. Some people are really thrown off by the crash itself, but that most times just people go, "Yo, okay, that part is funny."
Yeah, it reminds me of like 7th grade when, I don't know if you guys said this, but we would always say "no shit, Sherlock" to people. Like
Yeah.
that was like a catchphrase.
Yeah, it's just the literal version of that. I don't, man, that when I think about that, like, what's the worst injury you ever had dancing?
Oh, probably the one I have now from fucking jogging. Like, I'm so mad about it. I was a dancer for so long, and then I went jogging one time, and then they had to remove the nerve out of my ankle.
What?
Yeah,
Why?
I was on crutches for a while at stand
Yeah, I
up, and then
remember
I
that.
just like wouldn't.
You had surgery, right?
Yeah, and it's still taking forever to heal right now, which
Oh,
is
that
why
sucks.
I'm biking more than running because I can't run on the pavement.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's the loss of balance is what's really annoying.
because you don't have
Because I used to be
muscle
able to
or
stand on one foot forever,
yeah.
and now I am like retraining it. And they literally took out part of the nerve, so it has to grow back. So I don't have feeling in the 3 smaller toes on my right foot.
Oh,
So I
weird.
don't have balance on the right side of my foot because I don't feel it on the ground. And now I'm starting to get feeling, but it's like it used to feel like it was constantly asleep. And now it just feels like weird, sharp little pains and stuff. But they're like, that's because you're working a muscle for the first time. So it's
Yeah,
like, eh, it's a it's a
I've had
pain in the
that.
rear.
I blew my knee out, and when after I was on crutches for 6 weeks, and then starting to do the rehab, it feels so weird. But if you don't like really work it a bunch to get it back to the other one, it just ends up causing problems for from then on because you're constantly favoring the other side, and you're like it just throws everything else off.
Yeah. And then I shot that special like a month after that surgery, and I shot it in heels with dancing.
And so, how were you just like just cover it up, compensate?
Yeah, so I learned the choreography the day before the surgery, and then I went in, and then I didn't do it again until the day before the show.
Did
And then
you?
I never did it in heels until the day of the show. And then the day of the show, I was like, oh, we're going to have to change this part of the dance because I can't do
Because you
that.
just can't do it.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Are you able to like if you know what the whole dance is like in that month? Are you visualizing it and able to like?
I mean, I didn't work on it as hard as I should have, but
But I
I
mean, like as
also,
far as remembering what comes next, do you have to go through it physically, or can you do it in your head and memorize
I
it?
have to do it physically to memorize it. But I
Yeah.
did it before the surgery, so that was that. It was more or less like there was a little bit, there's less pressure because it's a comedy show. So if I mess up, it's not a big deal. I would have just talked about it.
Yeah.
Uh, and I did talk a lot about, I lost a lot of stamina. So like after that first dance, I was huffing and puffing and the show hadn't even started. I was like dying.
You're
And then
like,
I was like, oh my God, there's so many more dances.
oh.
And we shot 2 shows back to back. And the first show, I was exhausted and sweating. And then the second show, I had no stamina problems. And in my mind, I was like, how am I more fit during the second show? But I had 2 beers in between.
There's that, and also like knowing you have one show underway.
And it was a good show. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of like because that stamina thing can go away. Like if you're really in the zone with something, I remember it's not even stamina, but I sprained my ankle the day. It was before I lived in LA, but I was traveling through in the bus, and Greg Fitzsimmons had given me a spot on his St. Patrick's Day show at the Improv,
Mm-hmm.
and it was sold out. It was the first time I was going to be performing at the Improv ever, and it was like main stage and sold out. And I sprained my ankle skateboarding that day, and it was so fucking swollen and it hurt so bad. But the second he called me on stage, I didn't feel it at all. Went up there, did the set, like I had no problem, walked off, and then like once I sat back down after walking off, like it was all of a sudden like, oh yeah, it is still fucking very sprained.
They wrapped my foot up with so much stuff that I had to buy a bigger size shoe. It was so gross. And then in between, my ankle was literally the size of my face, and I was like, we're just not going to unwrap that until tomorrow. We'll just not look at it until tomorrow.
Yeah, it really does help, just that adrenaline of performing stuff, just not feel it at all.
Yeah, just ignore.
Which is weird, because it's like, how come you can't make that a medication?
Adrenaline? Because eventually you have to heal the wound.
Right. But I guess, like, yeah, for maybe they do. I guess it is just straight adrenaline. In my mind, it's something else. Oh, who's this one?
What was Ginger again?
The blind one.
Yeah, Mr. Kitty's in the other room.
Naturally.
Yeah.
All right, that was. Thank you. So you have a special coming out in July.
July 7th is the video, and then that Friday is the iTunes audio release.
Okay, cool. And what's the?
The show is called Kim McVicar, Please Notice Me.
What's it? Where's it coming out?
I don't know all of the platforms yet.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's Amazon and like all of the generic ones, but I don't know all of them because of COVID-19. So we'll see.
But you're.
But I know it's a hard release that day.
Cool. And what's your handle for like Instagram and Twitter and
Kim.McVicar.
Okay, and it's actually showing, if anybody's watching the
recording,
it's showing right on the bottom there. So go to that, and I'm sure you'll be posting exactly where to find all of that
annoying footage. Yeah, of course I will.
Thank you so much for being on. It was
it was good to see a face.
I know, right? It's I miss.
I can't wait to be at the Improv with you at midnight.
Yeah, I'm hoping some people die and we get some.
I genuinely, not death, but I do think that people are gonna quit their dreams now.
I think some people are gonna have to move home. I think other people are gonna just give up on the people who are like show up every other week already.
Or like I'm not even that funny. Like people who don't have, hopefully realize that it's not like they're just doing it because they're an actor or something like that. Like hopefully all those people go away.
I don't think it'll be like the New Year's resolution type where a bunch more people do it. I think it'll be like oddly low number of people starting out when everything opens back up again, as far as like open mics and even shows and stuff.
Yeah, I've been talking to Nicole at the Improv, and then I'll get off. Sorry, and I'm just like I get no time. I don't know. I just can't wait for like everyone to do the same COVID rape jokes at the same time, like all of the terrible jokes that people always do. And she's always like, "Don't do a rape joke." Now she's gonna have to add the COVID. And she was like, "I can't wait to call everybody a pussy for what they were doing during the thing." Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. I can't wait to just be like, "Hey, this isn't a Zoom show. You have to try." Yeah, it's gonna be weird. That's all. Like, I have gotten a lot of what I think are. Am I fucking this up or something? Something's weird happening with the audio. A lot of writing, and oddly, not a lot about like being quarantined or.
I refuse to do anything about COVID. The only thing that I've I would say it's related to COVID is that I do feel like I'm becoming a better wife, and it's upsetting.
Oh yeah, well that's the most important thing, and really that's the only reason I wanted to check in, was to make sure you are being a good kept woman.
I'm definitely trapped right now. No, I'm kidding.
All right, thanks so much for being on, Kim. That was a great way to end.
Yeah, I'm trapped. Somebody save me. Send help, please.
All right, talk to you later.
Bye.